We're shedding our masks and breaking down walls. Hell, we may even drop our drawers. That's right. We're going commando with Angela and Dana. Hi, I'm Dana Sardano, and this is Angela DeMarco, and we are Going Commando. Going Commando is just a little show we put together where we pick a card, any card, and we just talk about the subject du jour, and we do it with authenticity and from the heart, and pulling off the masks and the walls and the pants and all that, and just, calling it as we sees it, if you will. Angela, stop.
Let's see, what other kind of metaphor can we use? It's so funny. Just the word authenticity. It seems to be like, because there's all this stuff going on in the world, you just don't know who's who, and it's even like it's harder now. It used to be easier to detect people being fake. The sales. Oh, I'm being sold something. It's really getting hard to decipher reality, basically, or people being true. So, people may not believe that you and I are what we are, but we curse, we burp, we fart, we don't give a shit. Like, we literally want to share what it means to truly be authentic.
We want to share our farts with you. You're welcome.
We do. But, just like truly, like we are people that walk the walk. And this is what it's like, to just be unapologetically ourselves. And we find each other and ourselves very humorous. So we entertain ourselves.
So I've said that my whole life. Like every boyfriend I ever had was like, I don't think you're funny. I'm like, dude, am I the only person who thinks I'm funny? But then again, who fucking cares? Because I think I'm funny. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Look, I just want to share my mug today. That's Maddie.
Oh my God, that's Maddie more than 15 years ago.
17 years ago. This mug has been around 17 years.
Oh, we've talked about this mug before. The magic mug that has yet to be broken. Oh,
fuck you. Thanks now. No, it's just, it's just like, I find that hilarious that like some stuff just lasts forever.
Yeah.
And some stuff is like the sweater is probably, 20 years old, but I love it. It was a cashmere sweater I threw in the wash, and now it's like the perfect.
Now it's yummy.
Robes. That was delicious. All right. So what do you have for us today?
Okay.
Tell us about our cards.
Okay. So for those of you who are watching this sort of thing for the first time, I have a deck of cards that Anne-Marie Scordy and I created a few years ago, and they are messages of wisdom, love, light, and empowerment, all this great stuff with my images of love, light, empowerment, and all that great stuff. And if you are familiar with the cards and you see that they're a little bit different, the original set, the first edition, I have in the shop, I have on my website, they're all over the place. But we have just created a second edition, cover artwork created by Angela DeMarco.
Oh, thanks for the little plug.
But these are not yet on my website. But if you go on my website, in the footer on every page, there's a link. It's green, if that helps. And it could take you to where they are. But the old cards and new cards are pretty much the same. They just look a little bit different. But I don't know why I went into a whole sales pitch.
I don't know, because they're beautiful, though. I mean, those
oh my God, they're so gorgeous. They're the QR codes is because I like to give them out to random people and they have my website on them, but the regular cards. So because I am the QR queen, right, Angela?
You are the QR. You're so technologically savvy.
Wizard. Tech savvy. But anyway, yeah, she makes fun of me because I'm like, look what I learned how to do. And she's like, you're a big stupid head. But anyway, cards are gorgeous. Gorgeous.
They are gorgeous, because those you could frame those, like you could pick a message every day and be inspired just by the artwork, and then the message is super profound, long time. So
long time. So today I picked a card. Angela never knows what the card is, and so that's part of the fun for me. Ooh, drum roll, please. But this is Dot. QR code by Dana Sardano. But what's cool about Dot, here's what's cool about Dot. First of all, the painting itself, it's the dimensions are 15 by 30. So she goes all the way down her arm. It's really, really beautiful. I'm looking at her. She's right there, actually. And what's cool about her is on my website, I have or even in the gallery, I have a little blurb about all my girls, about all my paintings, actually. And her blurb is in alignment with the message on the card that Anne-Marie contributed. So I thought that was kind of cool. But anyway. Here's the perseverance. Your freedom is within your reach. It is up to you. You hold the power. You stop yourself. Only you stop yourself from your desires. This is a monumental realization and very difficult to integrate into the established pattern of thinking. However, with this effort, this will become understood. It is truly the acceptance of a new philosophy of life. This can be tedious at times. It is not an overnight process, which causes many to abandon the effort. Faith is required. Dedication to the belief in the self is the impetus to persevere. For if you believe, at the very heart of the matter, of all matters, lies the faith in oneself, then you will continue to persevere because the alternative will no longer be an option. Fucking good one, right? I picked that up and I was all like, oh God, if anybody needs to hear this, you and I need to hear this right now.
Dude.
And yeah, this is a big deal. This is really a big deal. So I'm going to let you, because I'm in my head before when I pulled it, I'm like all these directions where I can like totally go off about it. I'm like, just breathe and let Angela respond. But I'm like, oh my God. So.
Oh my gosh. I'm collecting my thoughts because there was a thought in the beginning and then there was a thought at the end. But this card is so important for everybody. Everybody. Right now, there's so much like chaos out externally and internally. And for people like having the perseverance to continue to follow their dreams or fall to the fear or stay with the job or do whatever. And especially in the world I'm in with all these founders and amazing people who are doing the thing. I mean, this is so important for them. Okay.
Before you start, it's not just
Yes.
following your dreams. It's just pursuing contentment or a pleasantness in your life. People give up on that as well. People settle in relationships. So I just want to be clear. I know where the direction this is going to take with you and me, but it's important that it's global. We must persevere in everything. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Please continue.
Okay. So my thing, I'd like to start with what is freedom to you? And not to you, to me, because everyone has their own definition of freedom. And when you figure out what your definition of freedom feels like, that's what you have to persevere and pursue, right? So contentment. I personally, freedom for me is the ability to be creative and to be with my children and to just be able to have a roof over my head and have everybody be healthy. That is freedom, to just exist in a peaceful content space. Some people think of freedom as having a lot of money so you can do whatever you want and travel, whatever your version of freedom is. And I think when we started Uniquely, I had a definition, I had an idea of what I wanted for the business and where I wanted to grow, but I didn't know what my definition of freedom was. Like, what was the business going to get me besides satisfaction that I was building something, pretty fucking amazing. But it wasn't until we had our come to Jesus, if you will, and you were like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "I want the freedom to create."
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
No, but until I had that clear definition of what I wanted for myself, it's hard to chase something that you don't know what your end game is. So I think once that happened, that was the shift that made it hard, impossible to do anything but this, because anything but this does not lead me to what I really want in life, which is the freedom to create and the freedom to be with my family and friends and just enjoy life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's really profound, and it's really, really important. We don't have to. I see you. Listen, I don't write the news; I just report it. It's really profound. It's really profound. But we forget to ask ourselves, like, what do I want? What do I want? What my thing, like, what can I do in this moment to bring me closer to contentment? But what I think is important, and I'm going to get a little bit esoteric here, because there's many of us who don't believe that we can have what we want. Like there's many of us who believe that we're sort of like, we're in this like life sentence of, well, this is just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
What? And I believed that for a long time. You know, it's funny. When I was single, I remember I was single for like an entire decade of in my 30s of really wanting to be with somebody and settle down and have a family and stuff like that. And I would say out of one side of my mouth, oh, boys are stupid. They're just looking to take advantage and this and that, because that's what was happening. So then I was creating more of that. Like that I understand that I perpetuated that pattern. But I also hung out with two other women, also single, also having similar issues. Surprise, surprise. And they, same thing, boys are stupid, blah, blah, blah. But I would always say, because what I truly believed, believe it or not, I would always say, I find it very, very difficult to believe that I will never meet a guy that's right for me. I am, we'll just say 35, because I was in my 30s. I'm 35 years old. And up until now, I have met quite a few men that were really, really awesome. Maybe it didn't work out because we lived in different places. Maybe it didn't work out because somebody was in school and somebody wasn't. Somebody was involved with somebody else, somebody wasn't. Whatever it is, the circumstances did not allow it. But I have met quite a few people that felt right for me.
Yeah.
If I have met if I've been dating since, we'll say 15, so for 20 years, if I've been able to meet all of these people and for whatever reason it didn't work out, but I still met people that were smart and that were funny and that were in alignment with me or whatever it is, right? It doesn't make sense that, let's assume, and I always said this, like I would have these, obviously, we'd be sitting over a beer and I'd be like, so let me spell it out for you. You know what I mean? But it doesn't make sense that from 35, we'll just say 75, I'll be conservative. For the next 40 years, I am not going to meet somebody who's right for me. It's just not happening right now. And in that moment, I didn't understand why. But I always understood it's impossible because I knew what I had to offer. I knew, that I was capable of meeting. So why wouldn't that happen? And I believe that belief, that spark of faith, allowed it to happen, because it did happen for those of you who don't know me, my schmoopy, right?
Yeah.
But because I was in the muck of boys are stupid, my beliefs at the time were blocking the ability to do that. So if I didn't kind of hold on to that and continue to believe that, it never would have happened, which leads to the perseverance. And if we as human beings can recognize that it is possible for all of us, our belief in, well, I've been sold this bill of goods and it's not working out for me, or that, this is just the way it is, or whatever it is, or it's always been this way. That belief is stifling the idea that it could happen. So first, number one is shed that belief, right?
Yeah.
Something a little bit less toxic, something that serves you. Things are not right now, but what can I do in this moment to make them better for me? What do I want? What do I feel worthy of? Why don't I feel worthy of certain things? And, get through that muck and then realize, people talk about failure, and we've actually done Going Commando on failure. But there really is no failure. Failure, and this is going to sound very Tony Robbins, but let's just really think about what I'm saying. Not just like stamp it on a bumper sticker or a t-shirt, but let's really think about this. Failure is just stopping. That's all it is, because everything is a step to get you what you want. Sometimes you do something and you get what you want, right? I brushed my hair. It looks neat. Oh, I got what I want. And sometimes it takes years to get what you want and go through the stages. But people stop because they don't believe it anymore. They lose their faith because they don't get what they want. And you and I, Angela, have had a plethora of opportunities where we could have just kind of thrown in the towel and been like, we're done here. But because our belief, our faith is, so people hear faith, I immediately think George Michael or like religion, right? Right? Like
I gotta have. Sorry.
Go on. No,
I can't help it.
I'll never sing.
No, it's a tick when I hear a lyric. I gotta keep going. Sorry.
But we really, again, the faith is truly within ourselves and our worthiness to have what we want and our ability to get what we want. And once we have the faith in ourselves, perseverance is really all it takes, because it is coming, period.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. You said you're going esoteric, but that was not
No,
esoteric-y at
I was
all.
about to go esoteric, and then I got derailed with my story about being single, and I was like, "Fuck that. That's for another day." I was about to go all in there,
I
but I
was
was like,
waiting
you know
for it.
what? It went to a better place.
It went to a better place. That was very 10 Rexy,
It was very
10 Rex of
generous.
personal power. Yeah. Mm. It is true though. Like that last line of the card, where I think it was the second to last line about once you are like locked in, it's really really hard to not do that anymore
Can I?
because
Do you mind if I read? Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, because I just paraphrased it in a
Yeah,
terrible way.
yeah. And then please go off because this is what I read, and I was like, whoa. For if you believe at the very heart of the matter of all matters lies the faith in oneself, then you will continue to persevere because the alternative will no longer be an option.
Yes, yes, and it's my situation is so such that we're trying to be able to afford bananas as we build this business, and it's a little bit of a strain on the marriage. It's a financial strain on the family. It's really really hard, um, but my solution, my compromise, is not to give it all in and go get that six-figure job. I just can't do that again. It will kill me because what we're doing here and the life that I'm trying to build, that's the one I want. And getting that six-figure job where I'm away from my kids and away from the house that I love so much, it's just not an option. I just can't. There is no other option right now. I will go work at a fast food restaurant. I don't care, just to put money, food on the food on the table, food at fast food.
Well, then
But I will freelance. I will do whatever I can, but I can't go back to a life. I can't go backwards. There's
yeah,
no going back.
yeah,
There's no
yeah.
going back.
And I'm just going to throw a little bit more 10 Rex stuff in there. We have been gifted, by being born, because I'm coming to the earth plane. We have been gifted this guidance system to help us understand what's best for us. And I call it the emotional guidance system and the physical guidance system, and I'm not going to get into all of that, but essentially our emotions, the way we feel, really tells us what's in our best interest. If you have such a desire, if there's a spark in there that's really really calling for your attention, then pursue that. And everything else that's telling you not to is the fear. You have to trust that feeling. And what's going to happen is you're going to do that thing that feels good. You may not even know why, right? Again, I picked up a paintbrush and I could not paint. Like I seriously lost my shit. Every day, oh my God, I paint. It didn't matter. It felt good. I did it. I didn't question it. I didn't think of where it was going to go. I just did it. And then you will continue to do that. And then you may decide, oh, again, I can make some money, or I could, do art shows or whatever it is. I did a billion things. I called it the spaghetti model, right? Throw the spaghetti at the wall, whatever stuff, right? So when I did something and it went nowhere, I didn't go, oh, well, then it's not right for me. I guess, because that would have been the failure, right? That would have been the giving up. I would have said, well, this is not an avenue to get what I want.
Yeah.
And I just kept pivot. I just kept pivoting until it became clear. So in the beginning, and this is with everything. This is with relationships. This is with jobs. This is with following your dreams, whatever it is, right? So at first, your pivot, I have to say pivots, your pivots are going to be really like a pendulum. They're going to be like really, really extreme. Oh, this doesn't work. Let me try this. And then you start to kind of get a sense of what your road looks like. And now, like mine, for instance, because I've been at this for so long, looks like this. And every once in a while, and then bring it right back and bring it right back. But it's your emotional guidance systems that's telling you, because what happens is we have a tendency as human beings, because we don't have faith in ourselves, is to listen to other people. Angela, how many times have people, since you started this, given you advice that you were like, oh my God, I should do that, but you're like, doesn't feel right? 5,
Way
10?
too many. God, uncountable, honestly. And sometimes, in the beginning, I would do it despite that feeling. and now it's much more like, now I give pause, you know,
Yeah.
because advice is a dime a dozen. But in the beginning, when I didn't have the security and the confidence, absolutely, I would get that advice, but I get that like, all right,
Yep.
this
Yep.
person must know better than me.
This
So
because you had no faith in who? Yourself.
this guy,
Because that's what people are doing. People, and people mean well, but all
yeah,
people are doing is projecting their experience. They're projecting through the lens of their perception. That's all they're doing. Most people, I would hope, are not trying to undermine you. They're just
yeah,
telling you what they know. But your experience is your experience. So it's interesting because you totally just validated what the card said. When you had no faith in yourself, it's easy to look outward, more 10 rec stuff, but it's easy to look outward. But the more you begin to really listen to your emotional guidance system, right? And you really begin to follow your feelings, your you know, what feels good, then you start to be able to recognize, wait, no, that's nice, but it doesn't work for me. Oh, that worked for you, but it doesn't work for me. And you
yeah.
pave your own path. And when you pave your own path, that's how you know you're following your soul's purpose. And that's when you get to live like shiny, happy people. It's awesome.
Yeah. So also to two things you've said, all freaking brilliant. So everybody, just so you know, the reason why I am the way I am is because Dana's my friend, and I talk to her every day, and I get this every day. So
You
it's
know,
really helpful.
I
I know it's
appreciate
exhausting.
I appreciate you saying that, but also the reason Angela is the way Angela is because she listens, she follows the guidance, so to speak. Again, I don't write the news, I just report it. It comes from somewhere. It's universal truth. It's not me. And she does it. She does the work and she perseveres. That's why Angela is the way she is. But you're
Oh,
welcome.
thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. Okay. So the one thing I wanted to say is you picked up a paintbrush in 2000,
20 January 2015
January 2015. Where are you sitting right now?
in my gallery that I
You're,
opened in 2019.
and whose artwork is in the gallery? Like, do you display other artists?
You're so funny. You're such a joke. I did when I first opened because I didn't have enough faith or confidence in myself. So I thought like, oh, Ubuntu, we're all in this together. And I had featured artists. I used to do events like every 3 months. And you know, feature them every 3 months. I had like sections because in the front I have like it's like a gift shopping sort of thing. And I had just for them, like I was like putting everybody out before me. And what I began to realize as I evolved and as my business evolved is that a lot of people say they want it, whatever that it may be, to circle back to Angela, whatever is freedom for them. But a lot of people don't have the perseverance because they don't believe in themselves. So they began to drop like flies. And I finally came to the realization that if I want something, I need to be honest with myself and true to myself and have faith in myself. And I remodeled the whole place, remodeled metaphorically, and everything in this place. I'm looking around. Oh my God, if you're nearby, you got to come visit, but make an appointment and by appointment only. But this place, oh,
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
awesome.
Your paintings, like they're all in the cards that anybody could buy the Soul Traveler cards and see a breath of your work. Like
Or even
it's
go
just,
on
you
my
have
website and just see it.
hundreds.
Yeah,
Yeah, but to see them in real life, like Chloe, where's Chloe? I gotta pull her up.
that's what she said. Sorry.
Yeah. Chloe is this ginormous painting,
She's
and
four by five. She's
and
four
when you
feet by
see
five.
her, it's just like the detail, the colors, all that. We clipped her out and put her on the cover, but I mean, just your artwork is just
Grab the third eye too.
third eye. Yeah,
That's a
third
three
eye.
foot by 4 foot painting. That's 36 by
Oh,
48. She's right there in front of me.
and Fredo,
Fredo's
Fredo.
behind me, but you could only see here. I'll do it just for the picture's sake.
Yeah, yeah, I
There
love
you go. You know what? Let's just do
Fredo.
it just a little. Ah, those are the three paintings behind me.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal, and this is like you got here, right? And you picked up the paintbrush. You were like, "This is fun. I'm gonna paint with my schmope and gonna make pictures."
Yeah,
And you thought it was fun. And then here you are sitting in your gallery, waiting for the next thing. Like you're on still on a path. Like this isn't the end.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
It's never the end.
completed, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But it's pretty amazing. And then for me, I have this little capsule, and it's got a little piece of paper inside. It's this little silver capsule, and I probably wrote in it in like 2015. And I wrote, I wanted another baby. I wanted to meet someone that I could have another baby with because I really wanted a big family and a lot of kids. I wanted the house. I wanted like all these little things, everything on that capsule. And this is not about manifestation. This is just about where I was and what I wanted. And somehow those things stuck in the back of my brain because here I am, like living proof of that, of
Yep.
following the joy. So, and I just wanted to say, so I engage on LinkedIn with, people that I think post really cool content or whatever. And it's fun to talk to people and get different perspectives. These are the real people I'm talking about. And one guy this weekend talked about how it was his birthday weekend. And he was feeling kind of sad. And like, I was like, well, that's sad is to tell you that, like, for you to think about, think
Oh,
about one. No, I know, I was totally pulling Dana. Well, I was like, listen, if you're feeling sad, it's a moment of reflection, which is a good thing. You're reflecting on what could possibly be making you sad and what could make you happier, feel more joy. So as simple as like listening to those emotions, like listening to what you're feeling, you get that like anxious feeling in your gut. Okay, so what's going on right now that I'm feeling anxious about? And then you can kind of either talk yourself out of it if it's fear, or is it like something's going on? You got to be aware. Is it like a warning? But it's kind of like if you treat your emotions like a puzzle, like, okay, it's clues,
Yeah.
like playing Clue. It was in the night. It was at the knife in the library. Yeah. But it just makes it more interesting instead of being like, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm just going to
and accepting it.
Yeah. I used to have, I'm an AA, or was an Alcoholics Anonymous, still sober, but I used to go to meetings all the time. And this one guy, he used to say, so you like sitting in that dirty diaper, huh? And I'd be like, no.
That is really, really something, because I was just talking about somebody recently who just keeps telling the story of the yuck. I'm like, all that does is perpetuate the yuck.
Yeah.
And I tell stories all the time about the yuck, but I use it as a teaching tool to see what I mean. But you could always tell when somebody is not yet over their yuck because they tell the story with such precision and detail because they're reliving it.
Yeah.
But when somebody is beyond the yuck and is utilizing the yuck to inspire another, they're referring to the yuck and making sense of the yuck. And so just something to be aware of in yourself and something to be aware of in other people. You're telling your story in the detail by detail by detail to relive the pain and the anguish of the story, then you are not yet over the story.
Yeah, perfect. Good way to end it. Well, this week.
Perseverance.
Thanks, Dot.
Go get them!
Oh, God. Have a good week, everybody.
This episode is brought to you by Uniquely Phenom Collaboration. To learn about our tools and resources designed for creators by creators, go to uniquelyphenom.com.